Okay, today we're going to replace a mechanical fuel pump on a small block Chevy 305 on my 85 Camaro. And this will be my favorite video so far because I actually get to work on one of my cars instead of everybody else's. Okay, here's the fuel pump. I've already got everything disconnected. This is the line coming from the gas tank. I just put a drill bit in there just to hold the gas back from spraying out. That line goes right here. This is the return line going back to the tank. This line goes right here. And then this line, this steel line here, goes to a fitting, and that goes up to the carburetor. I'll explain more when we put it back together. But this is a 5/8. This nut right here is 5/8, so get your 5/8 line wrench for that. These bolts here are 11, you can use an 11 millimeter, we'll take them out. There's the fuel pump coming out. Now, you got this backing plate, I already have it loose, but these are 10 millimeter bolts down here. You take these out. That's a backing plate. We're gonna clean all that up. You gotta clean this surface really good with a wire brush and carb cleaner. But what you gotta be careful of is this rod. This rod comes off the camshaft. There's a lobe on the camshaft that pushes this rod. Now you see I got some wheel bearing grease on there. That was to hold it in place. Now some guys will tell you, if you look, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, but this bolt right here, I think is lined up with the push rod shaft. Now I don't know if it's threaded all the way through or not, but some guys are saying you could take this bolt out, put a longer bolt in. What you could do is put the rod in there, put the longer bolt in there, just snug to hold the rod in place while you put the fuel pump together. It makes it a lot easier. You don't have to do that though. I'm just going to use some wheel bearing grease to hold it in place while we do this. Okay, just in case you have a bent fuel pump push rod, which is very rare, it's a Precision part number Z13020, and that was 15 bucks from a local parts store. The Felpro part number for the fuel pump gasket is 5182. That's that gasket. And then the backing plate gasket is Felpro 6579. And these are a couple bucks each, just in case you need to know. Okay, what you can do is, I'm using, you don't have to use gasket maker on these whatsoever. You can just put them together dry and it won't leak. But what I do is, I've never used this before, Optimum Gray high temp, so I'm going to try this. But what I do is, I just put a real thin bead here. Now the only reason I do this is to hold the gasket in place while you assemble it. It just makes it a little easier. I'm getting way sloppy here. That's okay. You let that set up. This is just, all this is doing is holding the gasket in place so everything isn't sliding around while you're assembling everything. It just makes it a lot easier. So you just do that. You could be a little sloppy, it don't matter. And just set that off to the side, and then do the same thing on the fuel pump. Just makes everything go together a lot easier. And if you get some in places where it shouldn't be, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. Let's do that like that. Reminds me of arts and crafts in school when I was younger. Just put it like that, let it set up, and all that's going to do is hold it in place, so it makes everything easier when you go to put it back together. By the way, here's a fuel pump I got, CarQuest part number 41216. It was 22 bucks, I think, with tax. It's made by Spectra. So hopefully it'll work out good. Okay, here we go. Here's the fuel pump push rod. Put a little bit of wheel bearing grease up top there. Just hopefully that holds it in place long enough for me to get this all installed. So here we go. Now, the further up that push rod is, depending on where your engine's sitting, the easier the fuel pump is going to be installed. So if it's sticking down, you can rotate your engine. It might be top dead center, number 1 cylinder on a compression stroke to get it all the way up, I'm not sure. But you put these 2 bottom bolts in first. So that's a 10 millimeter. Now this whole job you can do with a 5/8 wrench, 10 millimeter socket, 11 millimeter socket, and a screwdriver. I'm trying to do this quick so that rod don't fall down. So tighten these first. Those are nice and tight. Now for the fuel pump. Now I'll be able to tell if that rod is far enough up, because if it isn't, I won't be able to get these bolts in. And my permit trick didn't work. Okay, I'm going to try to get that rod isn't far enough in there. I'm going to try to rotate the engine. I can't get the fuel pump started. Okay, when I tried to put the fuel pump in the first time, that rod was sticking too far down and I couldn't line the bolts up. So what I did was I had the cameraman bumping the engine over. That's why I didn't get it on camera. And you tin knockers will like this. I just took a little piece of sheet metal, bent it 90 degrees, and I held the rod up and really quickly put the fuel pump in so I could get the rod underneath the plunger on the fuel pump. And I got it lined up. So here we go. Try to do this again. Now you should be able to tell when you got it right. You'll be able to put the bolts in without too much pressure. Okay, so I got the fuel pump all bolted up. First line I'm going to put in is this. This line goes to the carburetor. It's the only steel line. And this is a 5/8 wrench. Nice and snug. Okay, next I'll do the return line. This goes back to the tank. Zippity doo dah. And then last one I'll do is this is the line coming from the tank. Gas is going to go spraying everywhere. You gotta do this quick so you don't spill a bunch of gas. Oh yeah, get that on there. Then you just tighten the clamps with a screwdriver and you're done. Okay, I hope this video saved you some time. Hope it helps someone out there. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Okay, stop. Okay, just pump it a couple times. Okay, hit it again. Okay, let's see if it'll idle.